Hi, I'm Holistic Jen. I'm a whole food, plant-based culinary coach, health educator, and health scientist. And today I want to show you an easy way to make a creamy dressing or sauce for salads, for roasted vegetables, steamed vegetables, one of those poke bowls or green bowls or salad bowls, so many different things. And all you need is 4 ingredients. You need a liquid, you need nuts and seeds, or even zucchini will work. Some salt, if you do use salt, and then an acid. And so today I'm using apple cider vinegar, I'm using some sea salt, and I'm using seeds in my water. And so the first thing I do whenever I have nuts or seeds, unless it's some seeds like flax seeds, sometimes I actually do soak flax seeds, I soak them. So this is sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds, and I soak them first. A, it softens them to make it easier for blending, and B, it removes some enzyme inhibitors to make it easier to digest and absorb the nutrients inside. So you can see I have them soaking for a few hours. I'm going to go and rinse them. I'm going to drain it and rinse them well, and I'll be right back. Okay, so you can see I rinsed and drained them. There's no liquid left in there. And once again, you can use any nuts or seeds. Last night I made one with just hemp seeds, but this is 1 cup total for the portion that I need. Maybe you want 2 cups or 1.5 cups. You'll adjust everything accordingly. So I'm using a cup of pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. And I like those because it's a healthy source of fat, very high in vitamin E. And pumpkin seeds are also high in zinc, which is something that our body needs for several different pathways. And so to that, this is a cup. I want less than a cup of water. I want close to a cup, so I picked 3/4 of a cup. So it depends on how thick or thin you want it. It depends on how long you've been soaking your nuts and seeds and what type of nuts and seeds you're using too. So you might have to adjust it a little bit. But normally I'll do about 3/4 of a cup of water with 1 cup of nuts or seeds. Or it could be half of a zucchini. So I'm using water. You could also use a dairy-free milk to give it an even creamier taste. If you're making an Asian flavored one, you may even want to use coconut milk. So I'm just going to pour that into my blender, and then I'm going to add my seeds. Just add that to that water. They stuck to the glass. There we go. And so the next thing, I'm going to add salt. So I know not everyone uses salt, and you don't have to. I'm going to put about 1/2 teaspoon of salt in there, and the last thing is acid. So it could be the juice for 1 cup, the juice of a lemon or a lime, or some apple cider vinegar. So I'm going to put in about 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar just to give it a little bit of an acid taste, and you may want to adjust that for your flavor. And I could blend that up. Done. It's just going to be kind of salty and creamy, and I don't even need to add anything else to it. But I like to flavor things up. And so last night I made hemp seeds, I put in some cayenne, I put in some chili powder and some cumin, and made it kind of a Mexican flavor. So it was like a Mexi Ranch kind of thing. Today I want to make it kind of Italian flavored. And so I have with me, I have some basil, I have some oregano, I have some rosemary, and I even have some onion and some garlic. But I wanted to show you, I could put in fresh garlic. So I have some fresh garlic here. You can see it is still in the papery skin. So I have my knife. I'm going to crush it, and I always put my hand on the dull side of the blade. I don't want to cut my hand, so I'm going to hit the dull side and squish it. And that helps me get those papers off. And so if you have a garlic press, you can add it to a garlic press after here. Now, whenever we're eating garlic, if we want the medicinal benefits of garlic, you may have heard that it's medicinal. It's very antimicrobial, antifungal, antiviral. It has so many wonderful properties in there due to the allanase enzyme that forms when we crush it. And so the longer it sits, we can let it sit for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, and the allanase enzyme is going to build in there, which is great. If you're going to cook, then it's not really going to be too helpful for you. But in a salad dressing where it's raw, it may be just what you need. So we're going to let it sit here for a little while. So I could have started with it first before I started my recipe. Okay, so now I'm going to mince my garlic. Once again, just use a garlic press. I'm going to thinly slice it first. And then I'm going to kind of rock back and forth over the garlic here. to finely chop it. And I don't have to be really, you know what, I didn't even have to do that at all, did I? I'm going to be putting it in a high-speed blender. If you don't have a high-speed blender, then you may want to chop it smaller. So I'm going to throw it in. Okay, so I have my garlic in here, and now I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. So if you don't like a strong garlic flavor, then use a garlic powder. That's perfectly fine. I wouldn't use more than a half a teaspoon. If you do like it, the raw flavor, then maybe 1 to 2, or a fermented or black garlic. Not only does that have more medicinal qualities, it has that sweet flavor as well. And so I'm going to be adding my oregano and my rosemary, and I like a lot. I like it very herby, and so I'm going to be adding a teaspoon of each. Oregano, basil, only about a 1/4 teaspoon of rosemary. Rosemary can go a long ways for me. So these herbs are very aromatic, basil, oregano, and rosemary, and those essential oils are also medicinal, very high in antioxidants, wonderful for brain health and circulation. And today I'm going to be adding a teaspoon of onion powder. You could always add chives or green onions to that instead of the powder if you want to. So like I said, I'm making mine an Italian creamy dressing. Last night I used Mexican flavors. You could use anything. You could use the coconut milk with your seeds, maybe some lime, and then put in some ginger in there with the garlic. That would be a wonderful creamy Asian dressing. And so there's several different things you could do. You could put an orange in there for your acid to make it kind of a gingery orange dressing, right? So it doesn't have to be salty. It doesn't have to be herby like this. You can just make it your own. So I put in my Italian seasonings. I put in my acid, my water, and my seeds, and a little bit of salt. Something else that I like to add, completely optional, depends on what flavors you're going for, is nutritional yeast. And so nutritional yeast is kind of a vegan Parmesan cheese, if you will. It gives it that umami flavor. It's very much like a Parmesan cheese. Now, it's been years since I've had any, but I really like it. And so I'm going to add just a capful. I don't even have to worry about measuring it. So probably about 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast. Something else that does not have to be added. I just like to add it to give it kind of a creamy, cheesy, herby flavor. So let me blend it up. For the purposes of the video, this is about 30 seconds that I blended it. I want it to be nice and creamy. So here we go. So I did about 30 seconds, and it just depends on the type of nuts and seeds you use. Today, is the pumpkin seeds and the sunflower seeds, and they can be nice and creamy, but maybe not as creamy as a hemp seed or a cashew or a macadamia nut. It just depends on you and what your health need is and what flavor you're going for as well. If you use something like walnuts can be very creamy, but it will also turn into kind of a purple color, and it can have kind of a bitter taste. So while walnuts are wonderful for the heart, wonderful for the brain, you may want to just put some walnuts with another nut in there. Just pair it with something else. Okay, so here's our creamy dressing. Nice and creamy. This will be delicious. I'm going to have roasted vegetables for dinner with some lentils, and this is going to be a fabulous touch on top. Now you can see it's pretty thick, and so it's not going to pour really well, and so I could add a little bit more water. I could taste it and see if I need to add a little bit more acid, but you can see I put it in a jar with a label, because how many times do you stick something in the fridge and think, I just put it in there, and you realize it's been more than a week? So I always keep tape and a marker here in my kitchen, and I label the jar before I even make it, so I don't forget, and it can go in the fridge. So this will keep in the fridge for about 4 to 5 days. Great on salads, steamed vegetables, roasted vegetables. Make it however you want. Please subscribe to my channel, like and share with your friends, and comment below. I love to hear from you. I would love to hear what else you would like to see me make. Enjoy!